Audio 8.3 Concept of Syllabus and Curriculum Overt and Hidden Dimension. Situation 31 Transition to e-curriculum. A principal aims to transition a significant portion of the science curriculum to a digital format using virtual labs and MOOCs in line with the PME with the initiative. However, she is concerned about ensuring quality and managing the cognitive load on students who are not accustomed to self-directed online learning. Develop a strategy for the principal to manage this transition effectively. Number A. How should the principal select the curate the digital content? Number B. What support structure should be put in place for students to manage cognitive load and adapt to the new learning model? A successful transition to an e-curriculum requires careful planning that prioritizes pedagogical quality and student support over mere technology, mere technological deployment. Number A. The principal should not simply adopt any available resources. She must form a subject-specific committee of teachers to vet all digital content. This committee should use a rubric to evaluate resources based on curriculum alignment, interactivity, clarity of instruction, and user interface design. They should prioritize official platforms like DIKSH Diksha and SWAYM PRABHA Swayamprabha. A blended learning model should be adopted where digital resources are used to supplement and enhance, not entirely replace, classroom teaching, ensuring a balanced approach. Number B. To manage cognitive load, the school must implement a scaffolding strategy. This begins with an orientation program for students on how to navigate the platforms and learn effectively online. Teachers should create structured weekly learning plans that break down online modules into manageable chunks with clear objectives and deadlines. Furthermore, establishing regular doubt clearing sessions both online and offline and a peer tutoring system can provide the necessary human support, preventing students from feeling isolated and overwhelmed by the self-directed nature of e-learning. Situation 32. Differentiate between the planned curriculum and the enacted curriculum. As a principal, why is it crucial to monitor the gap between these two? The plan the planned curriculum refers to the formal intended course of study as outlined in official documents. It is the ideal vision of what should be taught encompassing the syllabus, textbooks, learning objectives, and pedagogical guidelines provided by educational boards like CBSE. It represents the what and why of education on paper. In contrast, the enacted curriculum is what actually happens inside the classroom. It is the curriculum as interpreted and delivered by the teacher and experienced by the students, shaped by the teacher's style, classroom dynamics, available resources, and time constraints. Monitoring the gap between the planned and enacted curriculum is crucial for a principal acting as an instructional leader. A wide gap can signal significant problems. For instance, teachers might be skipping challenging topics, over relying on rote learning instead of inquiry based methods, or failing to integrate cross curricular themes. By monitoring this gap through classroom observations, lesson plan reviews, and analysis of student work, a principal can identify areas where teachers need support, training, or resources. Closing this gap is essential for ensuring that the school's educational vision is translated into meaningful learning experiences for all students. Situation 33. The principal as an auditor. As a new principal, you suspect that the curriculum across different grade levels is not well coordinated. Teachers in higher grades complain that students lack foundational knowledge, while teachers in lower grades feel their efforts are not built upon. You decide to conduct a curriculum audit. Describe the process you would follow to conduct a vertical alignment audit and identify potential curricular gaps and redundancies. A vertical alignment audit is a systematic process to ensure a logical and seamless progression of learning from one grade to the next. The first step is to collect and map the data. I would ask teachers from a specific subject stream, exemplary mathematics from class 1 to 12, to map out the key concepts, skills, and assessments they cover during the academic year, along with the timeline. This data would be compiled into a single large-scale curriculum map that visually represents the entire K-12 learning journey for that subject. The second step is the collaborative analysis. I would convene a meeting of all teachers involved from all grade levels of that subject. Guided by the visual map, the team would collaboratively trace key conceptual threads vertically through the grades. Their task would be to identify gaps, concepts students need but are not taught, redundancies, topics repeated unnecessarily without adding complexity, and misalignments in rigor. This collective review process not only identifies problems but also empowers teachers to take ownership of the curriculum and work together to create a more coherent, articulated learning experience for students. Situation 34. Explain the concept of Global Citizenship Education (GCED) and its contemporary relevance in the curriculum of schools like KVS and NVS. Global Citizenship Education (GCED) is an educational approach that aims to equip learners with the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes necessary to engage and assume active roles, but locally and globally to face and resolve global challenges. It goes beyond teaching about different countries. It fosters a sense of belonging to a broader community and common humanity. Core themes of GCED include understanding global issues like climate change and inequality, respecting cultural diversity, and promoting human rights, peace, and sustainability. Its contemporary relevance for KVS and NVS is immense. These schools bring together students from diverse socio-economic and cultural backgrounds from across India. Global Citizenship Education (GCED) provides a framework to build on this inherent diversity, encouraging students to think beyond their immediate surroundings. It prepares them to become responsible and engaged citizens in an increasingly interconnected world. By integrating GCED themes into various subjects, schools can develop students who are not only academically proficient but also empathetic, critically aware, and ready to contribute to a more just and sustainable world. Situation 35. A principal's role in integration. Number A. What is meant by the integration of cross-curricular themes? Number B. As a principal, propose two specific strategies to ensure themes like gender sensitivity and environmental education are genuinely embedded across subjects and not just confined to a single event or chapter. Integrating cross-curricular themes is essential for developing a holistic and value-based educational program that reflects the complexities of the real world. Number A. The integration of cross-curricular themes is a pedagogical approach where important overarching concepts and values such as environmental sustainability, gender sensitivity, ethics, or media literacy are not taught as standalone subjects but are woven into the fabric of multiple academic disciplines. The goal is to reinforce these themes in various contexts, helping students see their relevance and application in all areas of knowledge and life. Number B. First, I would mandate thematic lesson thematic lesson planning. During departmental meetings, teachers would be required to collaboratively identify opportunities to integrate a specific theme like gender sensitivity into their upcoming lesson plans. For example, a math teacher could use data on gender wage gaps for statistics problems, while a history teacher analyzes the role of women in independence movements. Second, I would promote interdisciplinary projects. I would encourage teachers from different departments, exemplarity as science, art, and English, to design a joint project on environmental conservation, where students research a local issue, create awareness posters, and write articles, ensuring the theme is explored from multiple perspectives. Situation 36. Assertion A. The lived curriculum in a residential school like NVS has a more profound impact on character development than the overt academic curriculum. Reason are: the lived curriculum operates 24 by 7 through peer interactions, hostel life, and shared duties, providing constant real world opportunities for learning values. Critically evaluate the assertion and the reason. The assertion is highly plausible and strongly supported by the provided reason. The lived curriculum in a residential setting encompasses the entire spectrum of a student's experience beyond the classroom, including social interactions, mess rituals, house system dynamics, and self management. This constant immersive environment provides a powerful, authentic context for character development that, that a time bound academic curriculum often cannot match. While the overt curriculum teaches concepts, the lived curriculum forces the application of values like responsibility, empathy, collaboration, and resilience in daily life. The region correctly identifies the mechanism for this profound impact. Operating 24 by 7, the lived curriculum offers continuous practical tests of character, sharing duties in the hostel teacher's responsibility, resolving conflicts with roommates, builds negotiation skills, and participating in house activities fosters teamwork. These are not theoretical lessons but practical, lived experiences. Therefore, the reason provides a robust justification for the assertion, highlighting that the sheer volume and authenticity of learning opportunities in the lived curriculum make it a more potent force for shaping a student's core character. Situation 37. What is Scriven's goal-free evaluation model, and how might a principal use it to gain unique insights into a school program's impact. Scriven's goal-free evaluation is a model for assessing the merit of a program by examining its actual effects without being influenced by its pre-stated goals and objectives. The evaluator deliberately avoids learning the program's intended outcomes. Instead, they focus on observing and collecting data on all outcomes, both intended and unintended, positive and negative. The purpose is to discover what the program is actually doing rather than simply measuring how well it is meeting its own stated targets. This approach helps in identifying unforeseen side effects that a traditional goal-based evaluation might miss. A principal could use this model to gain fresh insights into a long-standing school program, such as the morning assembly or a student leadership council. By appointing an evaluator, exemplarily a teacher from another department who is unaware of the program's official goals, the principal might discover surprising outcomes. For instance, the student council intended to foster democracy might actually be creating an exclusive clique. The morning assembly, meant to build community, might be causing anxiety among students who have to perform. These goal-free insights are invaluable for a holistic understanding and genuine improvement of school programs. Situation 38. A school leader's checklist for curricular oversight should include indicators for identifying a toxic hidden curriculum. Describe three such indicators that a principal should look for. A toxic hidden curriculum is one that subtly promotes negative values, inequity, and a poor psychological environment, directly undermining the school's stated mission. A vigilant principal should look for specific indicators to diagnose its presence. Number A. A culture of fear and silence. One key indicator is an environment where students and even teachers are afraid to ask questions, challenge authority, or report wrongdoing. If dissent is consistently punished and conformity is excessively rewarded, it signals a hidden curriculum that stifles critical thinking and promotes submissiveness over agency. Number B. Pervasive and unchecked bullying cliques. The existence of strong exclusionary social hierarchies, whether among students or staff, is another red flag. If bullying, physical, social, or cyber, is rampant and treated as kids being kids, it communicates that aggression and power dynamics are acceptable, teaching a lesson of survival of the fittest. Number C. Inequitable distribution of recognition and resources. A principal should analyze who gets praised, who gets leadership roles, and which programs get funding. If praise and opportunities are consistently awarded based on social class, gender, or athletic prowess over academic effort or artistic talent, it sends a toxic message about what and who is truly valued in the school. Situation 39. Rethinking school rituals. The daily morning assembly at a KBS has become a monotonous 15-minute routine. It consists of a prayer, a pledge, the national anthem, and a brief, often uninspired thought for the day, read by a teacher. Read by a teacher. Student involvement is passive, and the principal feels it is missed opportunity for meaningful engagement. As the principal, how would you restructure the morning assembly to transform it from a passive ritual into a vibrant component of the school's overt and hidden curriculum. To transform the assembly, my primary strategy would be to shift its ownership from teachers to students, thereby making it a platform for student voice and leadership. I would introduce a student led assembly model where each class on a rotational basis is responsible for planning and conducting the entire assembly for a week. This would be part of their co-curricular assessment. Their responsibilities would include selecting a theme, exemplary criteria, constitutional values, scientific innovation, local culture, preparing presentations, choosing the news, and conducting quizzes. This immediately makes the assembly an active, overt learning experience in planning, public speaking, and teamwork. Simultaneously, I would redesign the assembly's structure to positively shape the hidden curriculum. I would replace the single thought for the day with diverse segments like Student of the Week, celebrating not just academic toppers but also students showing empathy or integrity, a club showcase to highlight co-curricular achievements, and a brief meet your teacher segment. This communicates that the school values a wide range of talents and personal qualities, fostering a more inclusive and motivating school culture where every student's contribution is recognized. Situation 40. Explain the importance of a principal's role in moving from administrative oversight to instructional supervision. Number A. Differentiate between administrative oversight and instructional supervision. Number B. Why is this shift crucial for improving the quality of education in a school? The shift from an administrative the shift from an administrator to an instructional supervisor represents a fundamental evolution in the role of the modern school principal. Number A. Administrative oversight focuses on the logistical and managerial aspect of the running a school. This includes tasks like checking teacher attendance, managing budgets, ensuring syllabus completion as per the timeline, and maintaining school infrastructure. It is about compliance and operational smoothness. Instructional supervision, on the other hand, is a deeper engagement with the process of teaching and learning. It involves observing classroom practices to provide constructive feedback, facilitating professional development, and leading discussions on pedagogy and curriculum. It is about improving the quality of instruction. Number B. This shift is crucial because school quality is ultimately determined by the quality of teaching in its classrooms. A principal who only focuses on administration may have a school that runs efficiently but stagnates pedagogically. By becoming an, an instructional supervisor, the principal directly influences classroom practice. This involvement helps identify and support struggling teachers, disseminate best practices from effective teachers, and foster a professional learning community focused on student outcomes. It changes the principal's role from a manager of things to a leader of learning. Situation 41. Analyze the ethical dimensions of standardized testing in a country with the socio-cultural diversity of India. Standardized testing, while intending to provide a uniform benchmark for assessing student learning, presents significant ethical challenges in a diverse country like India. A primary ethical concern is equity. These tests are often designed with a bias towards urban middle class knowledge, and linguistic norms. This inherently disadvantages students from rural, tribal, and economically weaker backgrounds whose language, cultural context, and life experiences are not reflected in the test content. This can lead to an inaccurate and unfair assessment of their true abilities, perpetuating and legitimizing social inequalities under the guise of objective measurement. Another ethical dimension is the impact on the curriculum. The high stakes, the high stakes nature of these tests forces schools to teach to the test, leading to a narrowing of the curriculum. Subjects and skills not covered in the tests, such as arts, critical thinking, and local knowledge, are marginalized. This robs students of a holistic education and undermines the curricular goals of fostering creativity and all-round development. Therefore, while standardization aims for objectivity, its implementation in a diverse context raises serious ethical questions about fairness, cultural bias, and the very purpose of education. Situation 42. Explain the significance of the shift from minimum levels of learning MLL to learning outcomes LOs in the context of India's educational reforms. Number A. Define both minimum levels of learning MLL and learning outcomes LOs. Number B. What does this conceptual shift signify for a teacher's pedagogical approach? This shift represents a significant evolution in how educational quality and student achievement are conceptualized and measured in the Indian education system. Number A. Minimum levels of learning MLL, a concept from the 1986 policy era, referred to a predefined basic competency that a child was expected to achieve at the end of a particular grade. The focus was on ensuring a minimum threshold of content knowledge. Learning outcomes LOs are emphasized in the RT Act and NEP 2020 are broader statements that describe what a student should be able to do with the knowledge they have acquired. They are competency based and focus on the application of skills and understanding. Number B. For a teacher, this shift signifies a move away from a content delivery model to a competency development model. Under MLL, a teacher's goal might be to ensure students can recite a definition. Under the LO framework, the goal is to ensure students can apply that definition to solve a problem or analyze a situation. This requires a pedagogical shift towards more activity based, inquiry driven, and project based methods that allow students to demonstrate their understanding in diverse ways rather than just through rote memorization and recall. Situation 43. The house system in NBS is often cited as a key vehicle for character development. However, if poorly managed, it can become a source of negative rivalry and exclusion. Number A. Identify two potential negative consequences of a poorly managed house system. Number B. As principal, what two specific measures would you implement to ensure the house system fosters positive values? While the house system is a powerful tool, its success is contingent on careful and value-oriented management by the school leadership. Number A poorly managed house system can lead to firstly toxic inter-house rivalry where the focus shifts from healthy competition to winning at any cost, promoting unsportsmanlike conduct and animosity between student groups. Secondly, it can create internal hierarchies and cliques within houses where certain students are favored for leadership or participation, leading to the exclusion and marginalization of others. This undermines the system's goal of fostering a sense of belonging for all. Number B. To ensure positive outcomes, I would first implement inter-house collaborative projects such as joint social service campaigns or cultural events where houses must work together. This fosters competition and breaks down us versus them barriers. Second, I would reform the selection process for house captains and prefects to the based not just on popularity or academic scores but on a transparent set of criteria including demonstrated responsibility, empathy, and inclusivity. This sends a clear message about the kind of leadership the school values. Situation 44. A principal's checklist. A principal is developing a checklist for her annual curricular oversight. One of the key areas of focus is evaluating the depth versus breadth balance in the school's instructional plans. Explain what is meant by the depth versus breadth balance in a curriculum. Why is it a critical parameter for a principal to evaluate? The depth versus breadth balance is a fundamental consideration in curriculum design and implementation. Breadth refers to the range of topics and subjects covered within the curriculum. A curriculum with great breadth exposes students to a wide variety of knowledge and experiences. Depth, on the other hand, refers to the extent to which students explore a particular topic in detail, moving beyond surface level facts to achieve a profound conceptual understanding and the ability to apply that knowledge in complex situations. The challenge lies in finding the right balance between covering many topics superficially and exploring a few topics thoroughly. This parameter is critical for a principal to evaluate because it directly impacts the quality of a student learning. A curriculum that is too broad and lacks depth, often described as a mile wide and an inch deep, can lead to superficial learning and poor retention. Students may be able to recall facts but cannot think critically or solve problems. Conversely, a curriculum that is too deep in a few areas at the expense of breadth may produce narrow specialists who lack a well-rounded education. The principal must ensure that the instructional plans facilitate both broad exposure and deep meaningful engagement with core concepts. Situation 45. What criteria should a principal and the teaching staff use for the analysis and selection of textbooks to ensure they are effective pedagogical tools? The selection of textbooks is a critical curricular decision that goes beyond simply matching topics with the syllabus. The first criterion is alignment and accuracy. The textbook must be fully aligned with the learning outcomes prescribed by the NCF and the specific board curriculum. All information, facts, data, and concepts must be accurate, up to date, and presented without ambiguity. This forms the foundational check for any potential textbook. It should serve as a reliable source of information for both students and teachers, providing a solid base for classroom instruction. The second equally important criterion is pedagogical soundness and inclusivity. The book should not just be a repository of facts. It must be an engaging learning tool. This involves evaluating its readability, the clarity of its language, and the quality of its visuals and illustrations. It should include activities, questions, and problems that promote higher order thinking skills, not just rote memorization. Furthermore, the content must be critically analyzed for biases related to gender, caste, region, or religion, ensuring it presents a balanced, inclusive, and constitutionally appropriate perspective. Situation 46, the PISA challenge, the PISA challenge. As the principal of a KVS, you are tasked with preparing students for assessment like PISA, Program for International Student Assessment, which focus on the application of knowledge in real life contexts rather than curriculum recall. You observe that your school's current teaching methodology is heavily focused on textbook based, summative exam oriented learning. Develop a comprehensive strategy to reorient your school's pedagogical approach towards developing the competencies assessed by PISA. Number A. What is the core philosophical shift required in teaching? Number B. What is one change you would implement in classroom teaching? Number C. What is one change you would implement in student assessment?